Aloha and welcome once again. This is Brendan, and you are listening to another Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Media Co-op production meeting for Friday, January 18th, 2019. And of course, these are the meetings that we do 3 times a week for the co-op, people who are working together as a team to be able to create inspirational conscious media, to be able to help change the world, to be able to help share their sacred message, to be able to help connect more people and continue to just shift the paradigms. So what we're going to be doing here with this production meeting, this is going to be a very exciting one because over the past month, we've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work in terms of shifting things over into the new Paradigm Shift Central website. And we are at the phase where we are actually ready to begin a soft launch coming this Monday on January 21st, 22nd. Which will coincide with the full moon eclipse. And then from there, we're going to start getting back into our regular routines for our weekly broadcasts, as well as being able to help invite people to feature their content on the website. And so we'll be talking a bit about this during the broadcast today, during the meeting today, in terms of inviting people to begin registering themselves on the site and to invite you guys to start creating your posts so that you can get familiar with the Wix platform, which is the platform that we've been using. The site is still not fully finished. That's literally what I'm working on today, but there's enough functionality to it where you can start working on the stuff that you can work on, and then I'll still be working on stuff on the side as well. So again, in terms of updated websites, so this was actually kind of cool because, you know, just like the philosophy behind this, I put up a post yesterday on Instagram, and it basically said, it literally said this, it said, remember, never be afraid to start over because it is in your very nature to do so. And this is a very powerful message. And actually, I apologize. Before I even dive too deep into things, can I just get everyone here to gently unmute their microphones and send some love and say hello to everybody else who is tuned into this, because you guys are awesome and I love you. So go ahead, everyone, just say hello and thank everyone for being here. So we love you guys. Whoop, whoop,
hello,
whoop.
thank you for coming.
Oh, beautiful beings of light.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, let's keep moving. So we're gonna keep this broadcast going pretty quick. And okay, so let me just step back a bit. I'm gonna talk to you just a bit about like where the website's at, where it's moving towards, and then from there we're gonna go around the circle. And I want to be able to invite us to really reflect on this philosophy that's very important when it comes to the content production. And it's basically the idea of starting with why. And so what I want you to do, I want you to reflect on the content you're creating or the content you plan to create. What is the why behind your creating it? And so this could be, you know, like, what is the value that the person receiving it is going to get? What is the message that you hope to put out? What is the change you hope to make? What is it that you hope to receive out of this as well? How is creating this content not just for other people, but actually something that's going to help you step into more of your own embodiment of who you are as a conscious media creator, as a light guardian? So we'll get to that, and then we'll also invite people to share a little bit if they're at the point where they are ready to share what they would like to be able to begin contributing to the main website. And we'll get more into that as we go. But again, for the main website, we're going to be focusing on literally, like, you know, with the intention of quality over quantity. So we want to be able to invite people to take their time and really, you know, put that extra effort into what it is that they're submitting to the website, knowing that everything that they post there themselves is basically a promotion to be able to link people back to your platforms, your content, your services. So in terms of website update, as I was mentioning, basically, I talked about this just a minute ago in the Instagram post that I put up, where I said, never be afraid to start over because it is in your very nature to do so. And so this philosophy is actually a very powerful one. And over the years, just to give you a bit of background, over the years when the Paradigm Shift Central project started, which was, again, you know, like back in like 2010-ish, we have literally gone through numerous versions of websites. This is our third or fourth, this is technically our 4th version of the website. And again, you know, for me, the reason behind doing this is really just like from that understanding that we need to be able to learn from the past and to be able to bring forth the messages and the lessons of the past with us into the future without holding on to the past. And so even though I spent like a heck of a lot of work on the past website and I did so much customization and I was really happy with it, but there were still some things that weren't perfect with it, now now essentially I'm just like, I had to make that choice where I was like, okay, you know, like that platform, it has its limitations, and with where I want to take the project, it's not going to be able to get us there. So that was a big motivation behind me really listening to my own spirit and following the choice to be able to switch over to this new platform, which is based on Wix. And so Wix is, again, something that I recommend everyone, if you're thinking about creating a website, I recommend everyone check it out. At this point, it is the leading website design platform, and for good reason. And as mentioned previously, as I've gotten more familiar with Wix, now I've developed the ability to be able to offer my services to other people within the team. So if we're all creating our platforms on Wix, then we'll be able to help each other, and I'll be able to give some instructional videos that I'm going to make for you to get you guys set up and creating your own platforms. But Wix does have its benefits, and one of the benefits, and again, this was like one of the main reasons, is that with the previous version of the website, it was very challenging to create good like quality posts in terms of formatting on mobile devices, whereas with Wix it's a lot easier. One of the things that's easier is that you can literally just copy the URL for a YouTube video and paste it in, and it automatically embeds it for you, whereas in the previous website that wasn't really a feature, and that in itself was never something I was comfortable with. So again, long story short, the website is getting ready for launch. There's still a little bit more work that I'm doing on it, but we are at the point where people who are listening to this broadcast right now, I posted the link into the Work Lounge notes, where in there you will see the link to go to the membership login. So once you go there, and you'll see the link in the Work Lounge notes, go there and create your membership. So you go there and then you have to click sign up, and then you literally just create your email, you put in your email, and then you put in your password, and then you click submit, and then it will send it to me, and then I have to approve it. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking each of you through the process of being able to create your first entries, your first shifter entries. And I'll just mention this because this is going to be very important, and you'll hear me mention it again as we keep going. One of the things that's a little bit finicky with Wix is that there's no official way to like submit a post for it to be approved before getting published. But the way to work around that is, and this is very, very important, and we're going to like really be strict on this, is that when you are creating content on the website, always make sure that instead of publishing your post, that you save it to draft. That is very important, because if you publish something and then it will go live right away, and it will go live before I have a chance to check it, and it might go live out of order in terms of how we want to be able to partition the publishing of content. So I'm just saying this to you now, but you'll hear it again. When you publish your content, make sure you save as draft. And then what we're going to do, we're going to create a separate channel within the Discord where basically you will post into the Discord channel and just say like, just submitted content for draft and it is ready for review, and I'll get the notification through there, and then I'll check it, and then we'll review it, and then we'll schedule it and get it ready for publication. And so again, with the content that we're creating on the main website, we really want it to be a variety of things, but focusing on the specific themes of inspirational, entertaining, and educational conscious media. And so in this sense, you know, we want to encourage people to create written articles as well as videos, well-edited videos, as well as music, songs that they're making, as well as podcasts, interviews. Again, keeping in mind that each person here, this goes back to like the core of the project, is literally a journalist for the shift in consciousness. That is essentially, you know, what I set out on my own path when I started this. Like, that's why, again, you know, the term Skull Babylon neo-gonzo journalist, the neo-gonzo, the gonzo means like it's you being involved in the story that you're telling. Neo-gonzo is just kind of like a catchy thing that kind of refers to like futurism, but the idea there is being that I was documenting the shift in consciousness. So essentially that is what we are doing. We are documenting the shift in consciousness, but also telling the story through our videos, telling the story through our content. And so what story are we telling as a team? And that's kind of the exciting thing, is that as much as we are creating individual content, when you step back, you'll be able to see like this bigger narrative that's kind of unfolding through the multiplicity of posts that we're creating together. So again, please feel free to go and create your membership login, and then I'll approve it. And then what you'll do is you'll see a button up in the top that says new post, and I want you to click on that, and I want you to practice getting familiar with the format format of Wix to be able to create. And at this point, if you accidentally hit publish, it's okay. It's totally okay because no one's watching the site right now, and you can just kind of, you can totally just do it anyways, just so you can kind of like see the process and figure out where the save as draft button is, and try it on your desktop and try it on your mobile and start getting familiar with it. Practice embedding your links. Again, I'll be here to help you with that one by one. So in terms of the next steps of the project, and I'm just going to switch into the aspect of the why theory that I want to talk about, and then we'll go around the circle. Is what I'm aiming for is essentially to be able to get the website in place, ready, and then this Sunday evening, if all my ducks are in a row, I actually want to be able to do like a guided meditation that we normally do on Sundays, and then from there that will launch us into the soft launch of the website. So I'm gonna start like boosting and amping up my regular posts on Instagram, and then that's gonna start directing people to the website. So for example, what I'm actually in the process of doing right now is that I'm actually in the process of adding content to the website that is from the old website, that is articles that I have written in the past. But the beautiful thing, and this is a reminder for everyone, is that we as content creators have this ability to really travel through time. And what I mean by this is that if you have really cool content that you created in the past, you can literally repost that in the present. And if it still holds its value, then no one has to know like whether you wrote that a long time ago or not. Of course, we do want to encourage you to create new content, but just keep that in mind. If you got like a really cool video or something article that you wrote a while back that you're really happy with, we can publish that to the website, because again, you know, we want to be able to create that archive so that when people are browsing, they're going from like entry to entry and they're coming across just like more and more value. So for example, I'll just take a moment here to Michelle. Michelle in the past, she's submitted content to the previous website. And so there is potentially some content that she wrote for the old website that we might want to migrate into the new website as well. And I'll also be able to like help out with that as well. So there's going to be a lot of content that I'm going to be adding, just so when people go there, instead of it being like 5 posts, there's already going to be, you know, like, I don't know how many I'm going to add, but probably at least like over like 20 or 30. And it's going to be my content as well as some other people's content, but them seeing that content is going to kind of set the precedence for again, the value that they as an audience are receiving from the website. Because we want to, and this is something I'll just remind you about, even though we talked about it before, essentially the design behind this website is to develop the relationship so that when people come to the website, they have an established understanding of what they are able to receive by participating in it as a viewer, and that what they are receiving is kind of, very simply put, like a dopamine release. And so when they go to the website, you know, they get inspiration, they get that feel-good feeling, and they get that media medicine, is a term that we've used in the past. So that's a very powerful idea. So again, keep that in mind, is that when people watch your content, you kind of want to be able to create that content that's going to make them want to come back for more. And so it's kind of like this thing where, you know, we're giving people the things that are healthy for them, and we want them to kind of get, again, like addicted, not in kind of like a negative way, but we want them to get addicted to the process of checking back to Paradigm Shift Central on a regular basis, because they know that there's going to be new content there coming through each and every day. And that content is going to be my content, it's going to be your content. And again, as the audience grows, like, this is the power of what it is that we're creating, is that as the audience grows, you know, like, you'll be able to post something there and it's going to reach, you know, X number of hundreds of people, thousands of people in the future right away, because we have that established audience and the established relationship between the people who have been viewing it in the past. So just imagine where this will be in 3 months from now, when, you know, X number of thousand of people are familiar with Paradigm Shift and they're getting involved with it, and they themselves are also being inspired to be like, ooh, you know, like, I want to be involved with this as a creator as well. And so again, we're leading by example. And I'm so grateful for each person here to be able to help set the precedence, to be able to help lead, to show the community what it is that we have to offer as value. And then over time, there's going to be people who are going to be like, yo, like, I want to get involved with this too. And then we're going to really start bringing in and attracting more people that are like super powerful creators. And then again, it's not just what we're creating individually. And the exciting part that I really want to be able to get to within the coming future is the collaboration, you know? So it's not just like, oh, here's like 30 individual creators. It's like, no, but what happens when like groups of 5 of us are like working on projects together and working together to create even more powerful content? So I mean, that theme of collaboration is such a powerful theme for the future. State the obvious. So again, real quick summary. go to the website, go to the actual link for the website right now is nexus.paradigmshiftcentral.com. Nexus, nexus.paradigmshiftcentral.com. Again, the website is not public at this point. Don't share it with your friends yet. Still got more work to do. And then you can go to the member login, create your profile, I'll approve it, and then you can start practicing your posting. And again, we'll create a routine in terms of publication, but the idea is to have at least one new post each and every day so that we can publish that and push it through Instagram once we get into the flow and the routine of it. And as we do things, essentially the people who are watching me through Instagram, I'm going to create like a routine where they'll be able to check my Instagram stories and they'll see like the new posts through the Instagram stories, and it will be like kind of like a set routine. It will be like a set format where each day there will be like a new post, there will be like a featured thing, a featured this, a featured that, and some of my own content, so they can kind of get familiar with it. Routines and patterns are so powerful in today's day and age because they kind of bypass the idea of people needing to get notifications through their phones. If they know that content's coming based on routines, they don't have to wait for an email, they don't have to wait for a post, they can go and check it themselves. So get you on the website, get you registered, get you practicing posting, and then from there, broadcast this Sunday if all goes to plan, and then Monday we'll have our production meeting, and that's when we start rolling things out and people are going to start seeing. And so get your back end stuff ready in the meantime. Make sure that you're going to be ready to start receiving people as we start bringing them in over the week. Again, it's still going to be a slow and steady process. We're like, that's kind of what we want to do, but it's going to be very powerful, and I'm super excited to be able to have everyone here. So everyone here, let's just give a quick round of applause to everyone here. Again, thank you so much for your patience and trusting me in creating this magic for everyone, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with all of you. So clap, 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 clap. Listen to all those claps. It's just like individual claps coming through. Clap, 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 clap. Go team. Okay. All right, so getting into the next thing that I want to go around the circle with, the idea of the concept of why. So again, I'll just talk on this real quick. What is my why behind the content that I want to create? With the content that I'm creating, the thing that's really interesting from my perspective is that basically I like the idea of creating content that stands as individual pieces, but over time creates a bigger narrative. And so for me, a lot of my why behind my content is, yes, to inspire people, but particularly to be able to inspire them to take action as shifters, as creators, as light guardians. And so it's like really helping people feel this, to embody this kind of like ancient, archaic warrior guardian archetype with who they are, and to really help them feel inspired knowing that they are amongst a team. And so that's part of the why as to what it is that I'm creating. And then of course, me creating that is really exciting for me. I know that I'm at my like utmost fullest like zest for life when I am creating. If I haven't created in a while, I can feel myself kind of like moving into that stagnation. But once I start creating, it's like brushing off the dust, and I'm like, wow, this is exciting, and it brings me life to be able to create, and then to be able to have people feedback and be like, wow, like, thank you for creating that content. That came to me at the perfect time, and I'm so grateful for it. So that's some of my why. So again, I want to go around the circle, and I want each person here who is ready to share a bit about what is the why behind the content that they are creating. And then if you want to share a little bit about what you are feeling called to create in terms of the content for the main website, we can talk about that, but that will also come in more detail through the week, and I'll be working with you guys individually on that to help like get it all spruced up and ready. So if anybody wants to unmute themselves first, please feel free to do that, and we will go around the circle. And Josie, go right ahead and pass it over to you. Thank you, Josie.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess my story probably seems kind of intense, but it's definitely the driving reason why I put out the content that I do was so when I went through whatever you want to call it, whatever phase of awakening I was in, and started my own dark night of the soul, it's because I had been researching psychology like crazy. I wanted to understand why I had just been in all of these painful relationships and why things weren't working out. And when I started to research into psychology myself was when I felt like I maybe researched a little too much, and it just completely blew my mind at that time in my life, and kind of everything fell apart for me, like I got diagnosed with cancer, and lost everything, ended up living out of my car for a few months. And so, and when I lost my mind, I remember thinking like I was wanting to disconnect from everyone in my reality because I I thought everyone around me was like a narcissist. And I realized I was giving my power away, you know, and just kind of putting myself in a bubble like I was a little kid. And I remember one day I was in my Googled, I'm surrounded by narcissists. What do I do? And all of a sudden, I pulled up this huge thread of tons of other people that were going through the same exact thing. That they were like, you know, I've run away from people. I think I'm surrounded by people that abuse me. And it was then I knew what I was going through in my own process of like I knew what was happening. I knew that I was going through some type of whatever spiritually an awakening or a rebirth. So I had a good spiritual foundation enough to realize what was happening. So when I saw that, it was kind of like my driving force to push out of that situation because I'd been starting my business at the time and coming out and coaching people and helping them through their relationships and changing relationship dynamics and patterns and addictions that they might have. So that became my whole driving force, was seeing how many people actually were struggling with it, and I knew that I could help people with it. So, yeah, I'm just really hoping to help people along their path, especially if they're experiencing a lot of pain, to see the light, you know, to see that there's like this path to freedom and, you know, having a very joyful and happy life, and kind of leaving those dynamics behind, how to get on that path.
Awesome. Wonderful, Josie. And absolutely, again, like there's so many people in this world who are, I mean, you can't go through this life without experiencing like, you know, grief and loss and pain and suffering and everything like that. And so like, absolutely having people in that position that have gone through that, but then able to look through it from that positive lens and that optimistic point of view, and to have that wisdom to be able to help others, super, super powerful. Again, you know, like if you were to ask me what is the meaning of life, one of the answers I would give would be to like help each other, you know? So it's like being able to look back and see our pain as a gift, because it gives us better empathy to be able to understand what other people are going through so that we can help them even more, you know? So Josie, thank you. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Okay. And again, I just want to keep moving through things because we got quite a few people here and some people have to leave early. So if anybody has to leave early, please feel free to go next. And again, in terms of the content that we're creating, if that you're feeling called to create, we can talk more about that afterwards. We don't have to fully dive into it right now, but let's just focus on the why. And again, this is really more for you, but it is for me as well and everybody else on the team. But getting into that why mindset is really powerful. So did I don't know if Tamara wanted to go next. I know she had to leave at some point, or if somebody else wanted to go who might have to leave early, please feel free. Lori, go ahead. You can go next.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
So I think that recurring story for me is that I live in suburbia, and and it was always like a box that I've created, let's say a negative box with that term. But I stay here, and it's not because I'm forced to. There's this inner desire to be close to family, and my dad's here. Yet I want to be somewhere else. So I want two separate things, and I'm constantly trying to have them overlap, because you can make them overlap. They don't have to be completely separate. And why am I saying that? Growing up here, back where I was born, I was always a little different. I'm an artist. Whenever I traveled anywhere but here, I saw myself everywhere. So I knew it wasn't different, but just for here. And back to what Josie was saying, I thought of that. They're just stuck into just, you know, as a whole, not intellectual things. And it's quite frustrating. Yet there are many teens who were like me, that I know exist, but that are more quiet. And so my mission really is to just hold space for the teens who are deep, and let's say their teachers they don't have enough time for them. There's classes of 40. Just that little person who has really great deep concepts, and their parents just can't help them either. My mom couldn't help me. She was there for me, so I honor that, but she didn't get me, and I felt alone. I needed to talk to someone, but they didn't know to get me help. So I used to be an art teacher for 17 years, but over that time, I realized what I gave most was that discussion between the students and I, how we learn from each other. And those are the ones who stuck with me even to this day. And so I'm morphing into more of like a coach, a mentor who happens to use art as a medium, but it could be through talking. So it's really to hold space for those people who just need to talk, like about things deeper than what they're wearing. So that's it.
Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful, Lori. And again, you know, just being there for the youth, for the teens, incredibly important, because again, you know, like I can only imagine being, you know, like 16, 17 years old, and especially if you know, more and more of them are starting to awaken to their metaphysical understanding of reality, but not having anybody to talk to, that can be very, very confusing. So yeah, just being there again, like as someone who has their own perception, but also there as a friend and also a mentor and everything, you know, sometimes that's just what people need. They just need that someone to hold space and to talk to, and absolutely, that's very, very powerful. So,
and not the psychology. It doesn't have to be psychology, like hardcore psychology.
The simplicity of it makes it powerful as well.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Thank you, everybody.
Cool. Awesome, Lori. And again, I'm looking forward to being able to see how your why comes through in the content that you're creating more as we keep moving into the future. So that'll be cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's keep moving along. And again, I'd like to be able to wrap up this meeting before 1 p.m. just so we can spend more time in the afternoon doing other stuff that we got to do. But so for everyone in mind, aim to keep things concise, and we'll keep passing the talk and stick around. Jenna, if you would like to go next, go ahead, and we'll pass it over to you. Jenna, go right ahead.
Yeah, so bouncing off of Roy, you know, my calling really is with the children as well. I opened up my own school one day, a school of awakening, a school of consciousness, and a law of attraction, spirituality, and alchemy, and healing, and, you know, just put physical. My why for that is, you know, going back to our experiences, well, how much lives have been if as children we knew we create reality, that we have control, that, you know, the thoughts that we think, you know, and so really that's my why, to just raise consciousness and raise that consciousness and keep the children awake, so that when they are, you know, 20, 30, 40, you know, and so on, they have a more balanced life. Because even in the contrast, even in the depression of their days, they say, okay, yes, I created this. I'm taking control that I created this, and I'm not going to fault myself because I'm depressed right now. I reached a lower vibration, and now that I know I'm in that lower vibration, now I have the power and I have the control to then ascend myself back up to the higher vibrations. You know, just really creating more of a balanced life where people are conscious and are awake, and, you know, they understand who we are and what we are and why we're. So that's my why.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jenna. Beautiful. Yeah. And again, and it's great to see people here overlapping in terms of their whys. And you know, in a lot of ways, I think all of us are here to be able to help support that next generation, and really keeping that in mind and honoring that is that, you know, we are creating new templates, we are creating new paths, we are creating new space, so that, you know, the things that we might have had to have gone through in the past don't necessarily need to be repeated. And that comes through the support that we're creating in the present. So Jenna, again, and it's really cool, just like Jenna, Lori, and I know other people here, you guys are going to be able to, you know, share some ideas and bounce stuff back and forth. And again, I just think we got such an awesome team here, and super grateful for all of you. So thank you, Jenna, as well. Okay, let's keep moving along, and whoever would like to go next, please feel free to just unmute your microphone. Manders passing, or fairy magic Manders McFairy.
Fairy shift mother.
Manders McFairy. Go ahead.
I'm your fairy shift mother.
Fairy shift mother. Okay, is that what you're going with? Is that it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Rock it. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna own it. Okay, so yeah, the why. Sometimes I actually just don't even feel like I have a choice. I feel like it just falls right into my lap. But it's pretty much always been my authentic purpose to kind of help people and serve people. So naturally, I'm a pretty mothering person to everybody around me. It makes me feel good. And I think that once people kind of wake up, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of share and, talk to somebody who's been through it. Because sometimes transformation can be painful and confusing. So my intention is to inspire, connect, and liberate. I want to bring magic back to the people. And in doing this, reacquainting gifted people with their abilities and power. That's huge. Like, one of the things that I felt over the years was that my gift was like, well, first of all, I didn't see it as a gift. I saw it as like a debilitation. Like, it was debilitating to me. Like, I couldn't go in crowds. I couldn't do certain things and felt like it controlled me. And so helping people realize that this is actually like your power, your superpower, your gift. And so that's something that I want to help with people, because it can be overwhelming at times. And then I just hope to remind light guardians who they are and why they came here. So that's why I'm doing this.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Manders. And again, just kind of like echoing what's already been said, but each of us coming in from a unique perspective on it, super powerful. And it's really cool that all of us are very similar in the archetypes that we're holding, because again, that's why we were attracted to each other and to this project and to this community. And that's exactly what I've created to be able to attract, is more people who are reflecting, my own visions and my own intentions. And again, that's why we're all here together as a team. So yeah, no, it's really cool. And I like that idea of inspire, connect, and liberate. I feel that could almost be some sort of like catchphrase or something, some sort of tagline that you could even work out of that. Like, especially the term liberate is really cool. I like that. Inspire, connect, and liberate. So awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Fairy Shift Mother. Getting used to that. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep bouncing around and doing good so far. So who would like to go next? Please feel free to unmute their microphone and we'll pass it over to you. And the next person will be, step right up on The Shift is Right. This is your host, Bob Barker.
I guess I'll go if nobody else is going.
Sure, yeah, Michelle, go right ahead.
Hey, so I don't really have anything prepared to say. I think my truth is that I resonated with what you spoke about. Like, if we're not creating, then we feel as creative people. Like, that's actually what my first impulse was. Like, that Big Magic book by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's like almost like if you don't let these energies out of you, then like you feel like you're gonna explode or you're gonna burst, right? And then here, my cat, my poor deprived child, as my mom would say. Yeah, and then I think it feels really beautiful to get the resonance from other people reflecting when you have moved through something, because everything we teach is what we go through. So like the first person who shared, Josie, like everything we are meant to serve, we have to embody, like as teachers and healers, and kind of infuse that wisdom in our own being and then regurgitate it out into the world. And then when people pick up those threads and are like reflecting them, like, thank you, back to that makes you feel very validated in your humanity and in your experience of like, this, all of this is not for nothing. All of this growth and the service and the challenges that I face, and that if I can transmute them and like give them as an elixir to the world, then I feel like I've done my purpose. So I feel like that's my real truth and my reason for giving.
Wonderful, beautiful. I love I love what you said there, like creating paths towards validation. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I think that is like incredibly valuable. And again, an echo of what we've all been talking about, just the value of holding space. But you're right, you know, like for everyone here, never underestimate how much a half hour conversation could change someone's life. Literally just by helping them change the story that they are telling themselves, right? So that's kind of where for a lot of people it can be that shift from like victim to victor type thing, you know? So like just being able to have someone who has gone through their own dark nights of the soul and everything like that, like it's such a powerful thing. And I think it's, again, as light guardians, as light workers, it's literally what we sign up for. It's like, oh, you want to heal some stuff? Okay, here, have it. Like, this is what you're going to heal through. And this isn't something because we hate you, but this is because we know that you're strong enough to be able to transmute this. And then if you can do that on a personal level and then be able to share that as a story, like that is incredibly powerful. And your story has value through the inspiration that it will give and share and help other people see within themselves. So awesome. Michelle, thank you again as well. And yeah, super happy to have you here. So big
Yeah,
thumbs up. Go
two
for it.
more things actually. One of them is all art. So we talk about like media, but all art has always human experience and it's transmuted it, but now we're doing it in a more like cerebral, like a conscious media sort of way. But that's really the meaning of art. And art is a very truth as opposed to like, you know, play. I mean, plants themselves are art, but you see what I'm saying? Like that's a gift that we have, is to create that. And I love what you expressed. I'm using look up like the etymology of it. But like to be able to take our old content, I've been getting that so strongly in this last little shift that we've been in the last 2 weeks, to take everything that we've done from the first cycle wave of ascension and then like renew it, reform it into like this more mature expression, and then just like, which you and I, and then like bring that into the space. And so it's beautiful. It's like all the actual, but then I think it'll happen again. I think there's 3 chapters to this whole growth process. So in my humble opinion. So
Totally.
cool. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah. And again, you know, just real quick, going back to the idea of reminding people that it's totally cool to be able to recycle content. So even for everyone here, if there was like a post that you made on your Instagram way back that you're just like, hey, you know, like this is relevant today, go ahead, repost it. You know, like I don't think anybody's going to get upset, and it's going to serve more people who haven't seen it before. And again, that can be it can be an Instagram post, it can be a Facebook post, it can be a YouTube video or whatever, right? Because like, just keep in mind that I want people here to start getting in the mindset of where instead of seeing every single post on your Instagram as a separate thing, to instead start seeing them as a consecutive story, as a consecutive narrative that you're creating, and how they kind of build and add on to each other. So if you got something that's going to support that narrative that you posted in the past, go ahead, put it back in there, right? You know, so that's because you're always going to get like new people jumping on, and I think it's a very powerful idea to really just like own that, right? So it's really cool. Like we're freaking time travelers, man, I'm telling you. So everything old is new again, right? Okay, let's keep moving around and passing it over. And thank you again, Michelle. And who would like to go next? Please feel free to unmute yourself. And again, talking about the why behind your media content. So if someone wants to unmute themselves, please feel free to do so, right? Yeah, meow. Any seconds. There we go. Rick, go ahead. Welcome back.
Good. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. What beautiful, beautiful narrative. I'm just really enjoying everyone's why. And there's so much resonance. So for me, you know, it's the story. It's the ability to tell the story, to share in the journey, to know that you are connected, to know that you are not alone, to be that healing, to be that which it is you want to experience in life, to be that change you want to experience. So as I observe, as the observer, that which I am and I accept that which I am along the path, and I love that which I am along the path, it flows easily and effortlessly, and it's just the most beautiful dream. And the times in the dark night of the soul, if you will, going through that where I felt so alone and utterly just desperate, and then into a place of where you are creating the most magical, beautiful love, and you're being that which it is you wanted to experience. And you go in these challenges of getting back to that place. It's like, okay, I'm here, but I don't really want to be here. I want to be there. Well, okay, so how do I go back and be that? How do I experience that? So sharing that journey and being the healing which I needed for myself, I come alive. And I'd much rather be alive than dead. And so to live is to, in that authentic space, in that authentic place of where it's just, I'm free to be me. And there's no worries, there's no fear. And so embracing the fear is really to inspire, to empower, to teach and to learn all of these things simultaneously, and just enjoying the journey, because we're so much more imagined. And it's liberating. It's absolutely liberating and empowering. And once you know, you can never go back. You can never, you can just never go backwards. All you can do is keep moving, and it opens up into whole new worlds. So I'm just enjoying the journey to share that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Rick, if you just want to mute yourself while I'm talking. Feedback. No worries. Thank you, Rick. Beautiful, absolutely, and that even just got me reminding myself of part of the why behind my content, and I'll just echo this because it's within what you said, and I think it goes for all of us as well. But part of my why is literally to help people see the magic of the world around them. And again, like that is the why for all of us in some way, is this idea of helping people awaken, right? But what does that mean, right? So it's like awakening to the sight beyond sight, to the paradigm shift, to their own self-empowerment, to their own realization of them being a multidimensional being by nature, to them being this being of light, to their unity, to the connection to all things, to the power of the mind. Like this is essentially like what all of us are kind of like, that is at the core of all of our whys. And yet each of us is kind of like getting there by coming in from our individual unique paths from where we started with. And that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like, again, this visualization of spokes on a wheel, where the center of it, like that's where we're all going, but we're all coming in from all these different angles, and we all have these different stories to tell. So again, Rick, I think I love the idea that, part of your why is literally you just kind of leading by example, by you showing your love for yourself, your love for others, and your love for the dream, and just embodying that in your kind of like carefree nature, and allowing other people to see that, to give them permission to be that themselves. And again, I think that's really important, because people see that and they're just like, like my goodness, like they feel the energy of people through a video, and it makes them really think and feel like, like what am I maybe not seeing, or what story am I holding on to that's preventing me from feeling that beauty and that joy for life in any moment. And again, like everybody here has like it is their birthright to be able to experience the gifts of this reality and the joy of this reality. And I feel that when we reach a certain level of consciousness, that we can literally have that space where we can hold gratitude in every moment. And we can have that like internal strength and that internal trust in every moment. And I feel that's, again, like a big why as to what it is that we're creating. And it all just, again, inspiration to literally, like the inspiration can be thought of in a couple ways. It's literally like the in spirit, it's activating the spirit, and it's also the inspire, which is activating the pillar, the light, in that sense. So again, like just reminding all of us that, like, yeah, we're coming in with these different narratives, but at its core, like, we're literally helping awaken people within the dream. And how are we doing that, right? So it's very powerful. But Rick, thank you again. If there's anything else you want to add in before we keep passing talk and stick around, go ahead, and we'll do that real quick. And Jenna, if you can just mute yourself when you get a second, please do that, and we'll pass it over to Rick. Not a problem. Go ahead, Rick, if you want to reply.
Oh, I just want to say thank you. It really is attitude. Every turn is an opportunity. Every opposition is an opportunity to embrace and be present in acceptance, in love of what it is teaching in the moment. And it's like sharpening this sword, if you will. It's a sort of, if you want to call love a sword, it's like it just envelops everything. It melts all the fear away to just love. And so, man, if I can be in that place and in that space where there is healing, where I'm observing, what I'm observing is that eminent love, and there is no sickness, and there is no disharmony. There is only, this one accord. There is peace. There's harmony. That is what I want to see. That is what I want to observe. So thank you again.
Beautiful. Awesome. Absolutely. And another term that comes to mind, and I say this for all of us, is the idea of being a permissionary. Again, this is this idea that by us being, in that vibrational state that we choose to be in, it literally gives other people permission to be that themselves, right? And this is where kind of even the philosophy behind the why of the free hugs, for example, why do I do free hugs? Why do I encourage people to do free hugs? Is that it literally gives other people the permission to kind of like break their old molds, to bust through their ego, and to be love in that moment, and to let go of the fear, and to really just be present. So again, it's such a powerful thing, and super grateful. Like, just being here, like, this is the excitement is just like this, like, beautiful slow build that we're creating. And oh man, like, just like I'm just so hyped up about the fact that there's like people who have no idea what it is that we're working on right now, and then once we kind of like reveal ourselves when the time is right, people are going to be like, whoa, like, like, where did this come from? And like, oh my goodness. And this isn't just like something that just happened. This has been in a culmination of like everything up until this point, and all the relationships that myself and you and everybody on the team have been creating. So again, huge thumbs up, everybody. This is, and again, the why behind, I'll just throw this in there, the why behind like why I'm doing what I'm doing. Another part of it, because like I said, there's multiple kind of layers and fractals. Literally, part of what we're doing is, like I've said this before, building a global team of shifters, building a global team of light guardians, building a global team of real world superheroes. So really inviting each of us to acknowledge that we are that superhero, and then when the time is right, being ready to reveal ourselves to the world. And that's like, that's actually really synchronistic with some other stuff happening in culture right now. If anybody goes sees the movie Glass, keep that idea in mind, and you'll be able to appreciate it even more. But that's a side story there. But anyways, yeah, again, just like literally showing people like, we are here, we are a team, we are superheroes, we are creators. And then being, and this is another thing behind the why. This is so powerful, and I'll just say this here and pass it next. The hope is so powerful, right? Especially for people who may be in that just like kind of, like, oh my God, the world's going to shit. And I mean, really the world's going to shift, but seeing other people living their purpose and living from that place as healers and guardians and creators, like that literally gives them hope, and it gives them the invitation to be a part of that story. And so that's like another thing, is that like through the story that I'm creating, that we're creating, it's the invitation for people to be a part of that story, not just to be an observer, but literally to be in that call to action where they find purpose. And that is, again, like that's another why, like these whys keep popping up, but it's to help people step into their own purpose. Like, just think about that, how powerful that is, because how many people are probably in these kind of like apathetic states, and the reason for that is because they're disconnected from their purpose. And so what we're doing is we're showing what it's like to be in the path of finding our process, to be in our process, and then other people are like, what is my purpose, right? And they start asking those questions, and they start seeing how they can be of service. And again, purpose is oftentimes being of service. So again, everyone here, just, oh my God, I keep saying it, but I'm so happy to have everyone here. Okay, let's keep moving around, passing the talking stick. And I think we got a couple more people, and then we'll get close to wrapping up this broadcast. And then again, I'll be around to check in with a couple other people. And a reminder, if you want to get yourself registered on the website, check the Work Lounge notes, and I'll put it in the production notes as well. And you can do that and create your profile. Okay, let's keep passing around, and we still got a couple people, so whoever wants to unmute their microphones, and we'll have questions at the end for anybody who's still around. And if you guys have to leave earlier, please feel free. Lori is just asking, what's the Glass movie? Glass is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's like about superheroes. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, if you haven't seen Unbreakable or Split, then you might not know too much about it, but it's about like kind of superheroes being revealed to the world kind of thing. So okay, let's keep moving along. And who would like to go next? Please feel free to just unmute their microphone, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. And it's totally cool if you guys want to pass, and otherwise we can get close to wrapping up the meeting, and we can make room for any other questions. And there's always more to work on, and we may have somebody else dropping in real quick. Okay, does anybody else want to go next in terms of the why behind their production? And again, this is, yeah, it's for me to understand more, but it's also for you to be able to just reflect on this yourself. Okay, so 5 more seconds, 5, 4, and oh, there we go. Okay, Songbird. Cool. Okay, Songbird. Go right ahead.
Hi, everybody. Let me just, I've been writing a little note for myself to stay on track. And I guess my why is not exactly any sort of ego-driven desire to reach any point or achievement or create any sort of page or videos or anything like that yet. But the thing that I really drive with is like an individual sort of assistance. So I feel like with my Instagram page, especially, and generally just going out into life, kind of like shining little beams out of a lighthouse, I wrote here. And I find that just by dropping those little seeds of esoteric wisdom, dropping those seeds, sharing the information around, I find a lot of people contacting me on a personal level. And I really like to help people that way. People always contact me and ask me, various questions. I sort of see it as my own journey, my own self-growth, and that never ends for me. And I guess through meeting you guys here, and especially doing the group meditations, I've learned not to fear my psychic gifts and quite enjoy those sorts of connections, synchronicities, etc. My intention is to write a book about overcoming hardships, incorporating some form of chakra healing. And I just enjoy helping people see simple truths as I discover them for myself. Create a foundation for my children of beauty, and like I think Jenna touched on it, really creating that foundation of connection for my children so that they understand that they're not alone. And that's it.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Hello?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Songbird. I love, and I think you really hit upon some key themes there. And just to reiterate, again, the idea of it being non-ego driven, absolutely. And I think, again, for all of us here, I really feel that, and that's so important because, it means that we're coming out of this because we're doing it for, again, this like higher purpose. We're doing it for more than just our own benefit. And I think, again, like when it comes to media and stuff on the internet, when people look at YouTubers, I think things kind of, depending on the genre of what it is, absolutely can oftentimes like be very ego driven, where, you know, it's like, okay, this person's like creating things because they want to be able to get popular and buy sports cars and things like that. But hey, you know, like no judgment there, you know, that's just like where they're at and everything. But just to really acknowledge that, like, yeah, this is about me, and you were saying that this is about me living my truth, and but more so than that, it's about being able to plant the seeds, and that is exactly what we're doing, you know. And that's where, again, with every piece of content that we're creating, I really encourage people to think about that in terms of like, what seeds are you planting? What seeds are you giving people the opportunity to water within themselves? And yeah, and I love that. And again, and just through the posts that we're creating that invitation and that open door for people to be able to connect with us. That's always super, super important as well. And again, and I like the idea that you said of helping people see the simple truths. That's kind of the thing that's really beautiful, is that in terms of a lot of this conscious media stuff, you know, like some people are going to get really deep and they're going to talk about, you know, like the Hermetic principles and like, you know, the Emerald tablets and like, you know, like quantum dynamics and things like that and parallel reality jumping and stuff like that. But then like every now and then you just need a post that just like reminds people to breathe. And then you need to like remind people to like go look at a tree or something like that, or to like spend time with their family. And so it's like these simple little beautiful things that are equally as important as like the deeper esoteric stuff as well. So awesome. Awesome. Sweet. So yeah, no, thank you again. And again, honestly, like I think your accent is always something that is gonna like add like that additional like draw for people. Like there's something about like some white kid from Canada talking about esoteric stuff, but like if it's like an Australian woman who's just like really in that divine feminine who's like talking about stuff, like I'll listen to that, you know. So just like owning those parts of it. So yeah, like that is one of your many gifts, as we all have. So
you guys are cute.
yeah.
Cheers.
Cute. That's part of a why, is to be cute, right? So yeah.
Oh god.
Cool.
And in addition, I actually my intention is to incorporate, because I'm a singer as well, so I'm working on trying to make some interesting sort of avant-garde music, and also I'd like to incorporate my drawing in somehow into making my own content that I can put out on Insta, as opposed to just parroting, which I do. That is my page, you know. I just share things that I come across and that resonate with me, but eventually I would like to create my own content. Yeah, so
wonderful.
That's me.
Wonderful. Awesome. That sounds great, and you're in the right spot, so awesome.
Yay!
Sweet.
I'll mute now.
Thank you, Songbird. Cool. Okay, and getting close to the end of the meeting, and if anybody else wants to add in a bit about their why, please feel free. Otherwise, it's totally cool. We can, again, just there you go. Okay, you go right ahead, dude. Tell us about your why.
I'm going last because I actually had a really hard time, and I've been thinking about this, so I'm really glad I was able to hear everyone and kind of get an idea. And I've kind of just put the words together, so I might be stumbling here and there, but ultimately my purpose has changed throughout the years, but my mission has always been the same. And very recently, I did some research on some of the medication I was forced to take. And it turns out I was forced by the state of Arizona. And it wasn't really the state, but the clinic I was on, the team that was working with me, they were intentionally poisoning me with lithium. And I had mild to severe symptoms. I was throwing up stomach bile every single day. I understand now why it pretty much drove me to the point of suicide. And as I've been working with this water, it's really healed me, and it's really helped me and cleared out a lot of the things and a lot of the emotions that I've been storing in myself. And it's going to take a while to really heal the damage that had been done on my body. And it just sucks to know that that was completely out of my control.
Man, that's a dark night of the soul, if ever I've heard one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to unmute.
Research that I had done with the electrical properties of the body this guy was talking about certain symptoms and how like he was just giving a demonstration of how one part of the body gets affected and then another and then another. And he was talking about the spleen and how the adrenal glands get attacked, and then all of these other symptoms that I had suffered from, the insomnia, the depression, physical symptoms of not being able to respond in certain mannerisms anymore. And that eventually made me lose the emotional capacity to feel. And there was a good amount of time, for over a year, I lost the ability to cry. And
That's lithium, though. That's what lithium does, isn't it? Doesn't lithium just sort of remove the emotion, the depth of emotion?
They say it's a mood stabilizer, but ultimately, if you take lithium in the pill form, it makes the liver dependent, and it does damage the liver, and I was given too much.
So
Can I just ask you? Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, so Yuga, how do you feel like based on again, either that experience or just like beyond that, like the other things that you've been working on, what do you feel is the why behind the content that you're creating? Because I don't think with what you shared there, it really answered part of the why, but I wanted to encourage you to kind of like think about how perhaps like your own story of your own healing is pointing you more towards like the why behind the content that you're creating moving forward. And again, I know it's worked in there like with like the healing properties of the water and things like that, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
as
Yeah.
cleared and as I purged myself out, I've seen that the more refined I make myself, the more refined the water becomes. And ultimately, it can be refined into a healing state that I believe could create, quote unquote, the perfect human species, where we'd essentially all be non-dietary beings, have no chronic pain or ailments, and eventually eating would be a choice.
Okay, so tell me again. I just want you to go deeper. So, like in very short, like what do you feel is some of the why behind the content that you want to create in the future?
Because this is going to change the world, simply put.
There you go. Yeah. So like you want to be able to like help lead people towards being like a healthier version of themselves would be part of the
Yeah,
why.
I mean, unintentionally, it became sourced with water, but all of this goes with everything that I believed in: dragons, crystal healing, the forms of mysticism I looked into. I mean, it's all tied together.
Cool, man. Cool. Absolutely. And again, like that's totally just like another fractal of what it is that we're all doing. It's just kind of diving deep under the surface to be able to like bring forth some of the new ways to be able to heal ourselves and bring ourselves into like those states of homeostasis so that we can heal ourselves and just be the beings that we were meant to be. So
Oh, and speaking of healing, one of my geckos laid eggs, and I kind of missed that she had laid them. Only one of the eggs is okay, and it's pretty damaged. So if anyone could spend some healing vibes to the egg, I'm not sure if it's going to make it, but there's definitely life inside of it.
Roger that. Diverting some bonus energy towards the gecko eggs. So cool. You guys.
Energy sending.
Beep.
Thank you.
Yuga, thank you for sharing, and thank you again for being here, brother. So
yeah, I'm muted.
Cool. Okay, and with that said, I want to be able to invite Arnav, if Arnav wanted to be able to share a little bit about the why behind the content that they're feeling called to create, please feel free to do so. And Arnav, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Why I want to do it? Because I feel like it's our duty and responsibility. Just because we know about it and rest of the people don't. And it's not their fault, because when everybody around is telling you just go to school, get a job, save up enough for your old age, live and die, that's what you tend to believe. But when you realize that there is something else, just like Rick said, everything else about being human, the beautiful part of it, just because we know it, that makes it kind of our responsibility to share it with other people. Whether they accept it or not, it's up to them, but we need to tell, right? So that's my why, I guess. And how I intend to do it is, Uh, I believe that spirituality is like the highest of the science that there is. Everything about it is science, whatever aspect you see. People don't accept it in the first place because they think it's something magical or something supernatural, but it's not. So once they realize the steps that lead to this or experience it themselves, they will be more open to it. So that's what I intend to share through my content. That's all. Thank you.
Beautiful, awesome. Thank you, Arnav. And since we this is just also for me asking, since we haven't had you in the previous production meetings, do you feel called to make video content, written content, a bit of both? Is there anything that you're feeling called to create in particular moving forward?
Yes. I actually I shared my blog, right? So I'm starting to write content for the blog, and I intend to make animated videos because I feel like that will attract people more because it's fun to watch animations, right? But I'm not sure how to do it. I'm trying to learn that. I'll be taking classes for that. So once I know how to do that, I'll start making videos. But for now, I'll be writing stuff.
Wonderful, awesome, thank you, man. And I think really, even, you know, for yourself, like even just being able to focus on like writing script content that you can verbally talk about in your videos, that naturally kind of, I can see where you're going with the idea of it being an animation, but there may be, you know, things that you can start creating that don't require you to have that like degree of expertise in terms of animation. You know, like you could literally just go and get some footage of nature and then have you talking over top of it about just kind of, you know, particular ideas and particular thoughts, and that in itself could be very beautiful. You know, put like a little bit of music underneath that. So don't kind of pigeon-toe yourself into the idea of just thinking that it needs to be a certain degree of animation in order to begin practicing getting your voice on camera and getting your script on camera and things like that. I do love the idea of animation, but at the same time, like, I think there's definitely other things to create leading up to that are going to help you even more so when you're ready to get deeper into that animation. But I really enjoy your voice, you know, and again, I say this for everybody, I think everybody here's got a powerful voice, but I really enjoy your voice, and I think again, just like with your writing styles, that would be very powerful content to just be able to have you explaining your perceptions of reality. So there's just a couple thoughts there, but yeah, whatever you feel called to.
Thank you so much. I'll try to start that actually. I did not give a thought on that before, but yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think I'll start on that.
Yeah, and literally, you know, like even just like go out and film some water, film some trees, and then like create a script that's maybe like between 2 and 3 minutes. And again, like you could, because I want to encourage other people to do this in terms of it being almost like poetry, but it doesn't have to be poetry, but it could literally just be, you know, like just think about that. If you had 2 minutes to tell people something about reality, what would you tell them? You know, so use that as kind of an incentive to kind of get like right to the point kind of thing. But then at the same time, you can kind of like stretch that out, and you could make like a series of these. You could make like 5 or 6 of these like little short little videos. But again, I think those would absolutely, those would be very powerful for your audience, and also through the Paradigm Shift Central community. So, but yeah, man, whatever you create, we're here to support. So.
Yeah, sure. I'll do it. I think that will be my shift mission for January.
There you go. Perfect. Wonderful, man. Awesome. All right. So with that, thank you again. So with that said, we're going to get close to wrapping up the meeting. I just want to be able to give people a chance to, if they have any questions related to the project that they just want to throw my way, or even just any gratitude that they want to express. Homework wise, again, at this point, I want to be able to encourage people to do what I said at the beginning of the broadcast, which was to go to the Paradigm Shift Central website, nexus.paradigmshiftcentral.com, and go to the member login. I'll post it into the production notes and create their login there. And then I want you to start familiarizing yourself with like the way how to publish content there. But again, you can just kind of do it as a practice right now, and then next week we'll start getting into like the more kind of polished content publication. So if you have any questions with that, just let me know and we'll be able to walk through, and I'll have some tutorial videos on that in the future. But does anybody have any questions, or again, just gratitude that they want to express? Please feel free to do so. Manders, did you? Oh, okay. I think that was it. Oh.
Sorry, I've got stuff going on right here. I just wanted to basically express that, you know, every morning I like lay in bed and I think, oh, maybe I'll just go back to sleep, or maybe I'll just let myself sleep in today. And this has been huge for me as far as like motivating me, even just getting out of bed. And so it's like, oh, well, I could go hop on and see what's going on in the work lounge or whatnot. And then it always ends up being super enlightening. And I feel so grateful that I actually did get up, and I'm super pumped for the rest of the day. And so I just want to say thank you so much for creating this space, because it really does make it it changes the day completely for me.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Awesome. Happy to hear. And again, you know, like I can I can definitely say the same thing. I think for all of us here, there's a lot of value that we're receiving just from being in this community together, and to be able to essentially like use these meetings, and this is part of the design of them, to kind of have it as like a spiritual boost point that enrich us. So we kind of come here and we kind of receive the medicine of community together that continue to inspire us, and then we go out and then we create awesome things, and then we come back again, and then we go out and then we come back again, and we are the breath. So it's beautiful. So simple but effective. Okay, cool. Anybody else with any gratitude that you want to express or quick questions, please feel free, and then we'll wrap up this broadcast.
Similar to Manda's, just gratitude for you creating this space and the connections that you have enabled, I guess. Not really enabled. I can't think of the word right now. It's early in the morning. But yeah, I'm grateful for everybody and all of the support that I get from you guys, which I just do not get in my day-to-day. I think I've probably got one or two friends who are enlightened, or at least starting to question things. And yeah, so thanks for that, Brandon. It's great.
Awesome.
Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thank you as well. And there's one more thing I'll mention before we wrap up. But again, if anybody else just wanted to unmute themselves and express gratitude towards the team, please feel free to do that before we conclude the broadcast. Real quick, anybody? I know you're all feeling it in your heart. That's okay. You don't have to say it. I can hear it. Okay. One thing I just wanted to be able to mention, I didn't mention this at the beginning, consider this just like a bonus. On the main website, we do have the shared Instagram feed, and I want to be able to start bringing people into that. And so I'm going to start adding people to the shared Instagram feed. And what we're going to do in the future is that we're actually going to encourage people to begin using the hashtag Paradigm Shift Central. And then when you post content with that hashtag, it will automatically show up on the main website once we have added you as a featured Instagram creator. So if you're ready to get added to the Instagram, let me know, or I'll reach out to you, and that will be one of the things that we'll get set up with as well. So other than that, like I said, homework wise, go to the link I'll put this in the production note as well, to be able to create your profile on the Paradigm Shift Central website. And again, practice creating publications from mobile and desktop. And again, reminder, once you're officially in the mode to begin publishing, always save as draft first. Don't publish. Like, don't click save and publish, click save as draft. But for now, if you want to just click save and publish, and then you can see what it looks like and stuff like that, that's okay too. Just kind of play around with it, and I'll be working on other background stuff too. And yeah, other than that, just, you know, it's a Friday. Be sure to go take some time for yourself this weekend. Always, again, reward yourself for all the hard work that you've done. That's always incredibly important. And give yourself everything that you need. Spend time with friends and family. Go hug a tree and get all the rest that is required to kick some more butt next week. And it's going to be an exciting week. And again, stay tuned for updates. And if all goes to plan, we will do some kind of meditation on the Sunday, and then Monday will be a very exciting day for all of us. So the world will see us, and they shall be amazed. So something like that. Okay.
Can't wait for meditation. Woo!
Cool. Okay, everyone. Unless there's any last comments or questions, let's all say thank you and good night, good morning, good evening to everyone wherever you are.
Thank you.
Love you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Go
Good being.
Woo.
Namaste.
Keep it shifty. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Much love.
Woo!